Good afternoon. I'm Alexandra Klitsina, journalist of Kyiv Post. Today with us, Viktor Tregubov, journalist, public figure, and captain of Armed Forces of Ukraine. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Where are you serving at the moment? What is the situation at the front?
Right now, I'm on my base. That's not the Frontline. That's Zhytomyr Oblast of Ukraine. That's my so-called point of permanent dislocation. But well, my friends and colleagues now from Kherson and Mykolaiv to Sumy, so well, I can talk about the situation in several places. Basically, for now, that's some kind of stalemate on the front. It's hot stalemate. Well, the hottest in Bakhmut region when Russians trying to advance well, without counting any losses from their side. But still, well, I think that is just some kind of stalemate before the new breakthrough from Ukrainian side, and I hope that soon, well, sooner or later, but rather sooner, we will see breakthrough in the north of Luhansk Oblast and in the western part of Kherson Oblast. Well, for now, it looks like that. So, and we can also obviously see that Russians trying to, well, to hit not even military but civilian targets. It's now their emphasis, and that's even strange, but maybe that's some kind of terrorist tactics. And from our side, Ukrainians also trying some life hacks, but it's against military targets like ships in Sevastopol. So, well, that's not some kind of peaceful type of stalemate. No, that's just some kind of a very, I'd say, aggressive one.
Is Ukrainian army continue its counteroffensive at the moment?
Yes, but that's not like we saw it well a month ago. For us, it's like one breakthrough, stalemate, another breakthrough, because you always need to watch your logistics. You always need to, well, I'd say, to bite the elephant piece by piece. You always need to well, to take some regions to make your logistics, your supplies effective. And just after that, to make another breakthrough. It's not like some kind of constant offensive, like you're running all the time and enemy is running from you. Know, you can move maybe to 10, 20, 40 kilometers, and then you got to wait until you will stabilize this line. So to be well, to be protected from enemy counterattacks. So that's how it's working now. We're in that phase of stabilizing our line before the next advance.
How tactic of the Russians have changed since summer?
First of all, the main change here is their attacks with the long-range weapons against Ukrainian civilian targets. That's the most important thing. They're trying to destroy Ukrainian energy infrastructure and civilian infrastructure. That is something new for us, because if before they could aim in some infrastructural objects, but they never tried to do it so, I'd say, systematically. They never tried to destroy the Ukrainian power grid in any town from Chernivtsi to Sumy, and that's a new challenge for us, and we need to address that, and that's the thing we now actually are doing. Well, not we, but our anti-aircrafts and other guys. So that's the main change in Russian tactics. But I suppose it's more like sign of weakness when they cannot actually fight us on the land, when they cannot win in battle military against military. They try to use coercion against civilian targets just to make maybe some kind of internal riots or so on. But that's also not going to happen. So still, it's bad, but it's rather a sign that we are winning now.
They are surviving, right? What is about the needs? What are the needs for the front now? And are you ready for winter?
Oh, that's tricky. That really depends from specific units, specific regiments, and so on, so on. For my, yeah, we are ready. Well, we were even during the start of the war. But for us and for many others, warm clothes is a problem now, and I suppose that Minister of Defense now trying to do everything to solve this problem, because we also have a problem with heating in the country as a whole because of Russian attacks, and I suppose that could be something damaging to civilians. From our perspective, if we're talking about weapons, we of course need anti-aircraft defenses, many and of different kinds, just because Russia will try to supply itself with Iranian missiles and Iranian drones more and more. And for us, it's more important now to protect civilian targets, infrastructural objects, and so on. Because winter is coming, so I'd say it's a top priority. Maybe we also need a number of things, like first of all, maybe aviation, combat aviation, but that much more tricky, and that's much more slow, I suppose, because it's really hard to not only to supply but also to maintain, and so on and so on. But
Mhm.
still, we hope that we will get that sooner or later.
But what about the Russians? Do they ready for winters? Do they have enough supply, in your opinion?
I suppose not. I suppose not, because they are not really ready for anything. There's their partial mobilization, so-called, is absolute disaster when we're talking about some kind of supplies and ammunition. They cannot even find summer clothes for them sometimes. So who could we talk about winter clothes? But I suppose that's not a big problem for Russian commanders, because they are not susceptible to public opinion. They can just ignore that their soldiers are practically dying from the cold, but we cannot. They have more human resources, and they actually don't really care about their comfort or even their survival. So that's the problem when you're involved with a state like Russia. They can actually afford just not to care about their own soldiers. We cannot.
Mhm. But what is your projection for the hostilities in the winter time? Will it slow down or intensify, in your opinion?
I suppose it will slow down because of just weather reasons. It's not really effective to make some kind of big offensives. In winter, however, we have some examples of rather big advances from Russian side during the first stage of the war in winter. So not only in this February, but also, if you can remember, Battle for Debaltseve it also was more or less snowy. And even in Avdiivka, well, the first battle in Avdiivka, it's the beginning of the year 2016. Well, I was there for that time, and it was also winter, it was also snow, and blah blah blah. So it's not impossible. It's just harder than during summertime, but still, we I suppose we cannot. Well, expect something really, really drastic and strategic, but we can see some advances from both sides, maybe on a lesser scale.
Do you have losses in your unit? Is how many killed or wounded?
No, no, that's great,
Good,
but no. Mhm.
good. Are Russians suffering losses at the moment?
Of course, it's really high losses now. It's even maybe some kind of record, because it's because their newly mobilized guys have no experience, have no, just, I don't even call it experience. It's maybe some kind of I don't know, combat attitude or something like that, because when you was just thrown in the field without any training at all, it's really bad for you. And the numbers of killed in action we see from Russian side, even one day it was almost 1,000. Well, that's the result of bad mobilization efforts. That's a result of bad organization of their mobilized efforts, and well, good for us, bad for them.
How long this war will last, in your opinion? What could end this war?
I suppose it will last till the next year, but I cannot be sure about that. And I suppose it will end the next year. First of all, because I don't think Russia is ready for some kind of long run. And well, if Ukraine have backup of Western countries, Russians have just backup of countries like Iran, and Iran is not the most reliable sources of your supply. Truth to be told, they are not really so rich, they are not really so effective. And I suppose that in the next year the problem will be solved. Either there will be something in the world or something in Russia, but they just will their resources. I mean, economic resource, human resource, supply resource, and so on will just run low, and they just will lose the ability to make this war something more and
I would like to ask your opinion. It's a lot of discussions at the moment. Do you think Putin can use nuclear weapons against Ukraine?
I don't suppose so. First of all, because it will be disaster for him, not only because there may be a possible Western response, but because of Eastern response. Because his only hope for now is economic support from the side of China and India. And both China and India, well, I don't think they will provide anything after some kind of nuclear war starts, or even will not just starts, but will be discussed really seriously, because that's not in their interests, first of all. So I suppose that he will get some strikes not only from West, but from East, and from East it could even be something more difficult for him.
But is there enough weapons Ukrainian army has at the moment?
Of course, it's never enough. Well, that's where we always want more. But for now, well, as you see, we can use the one we got, and we can even use it effectively, not only to launch our own offensives, but also to make some kind of special operations like we did in Sevastopol. So, well, we can use what we have, but still we are asked for more, because it's more like a question of casualties from Ukrainian side and first of all civilian side. I suppose we win either way, and we will try to win either way. We will fight either way, but it's a question of costs, just that.
What is the morale of Ukrainian soldiers?
I suppose it's rather high. Well, why not? We're winning. Well, basically we're winning. Of course, not so fast as we want, but why? Well, why keep our morale low when we can actually see Kherson? And so.
So, do you think Kherson will be liberated soon?
I suppose so, yes. It's not, from my perspective, and it's not even about Kherson, but about Berislav. If Berislav will be liberated and the other side of Kherson Dam will be controlled by Ukrainians, I suppose Russians in Kherson couldn't last for long.
Okay, thank you for this short interview. So, have a good day.